Hi everybody, thanks for coming along. I'm going to be starting in just a second, just going to let a few other people join in, so I'll give it another minute or so and then we'll get going. Okay, I think we can get going here. So thanks everybody for coming along. I know there's going to be a lot of you that are parents. There might be some nursery staff or school staff in here as well. And I'll turn my video on for you so we can do that. So yeah, I'm David, and if any of you have ever contacted Learn Journal, it's either myself or probably Cindy that you've spoken to. But mostly, I guess, we deal with teachers and nursery staff. So this is a chance to show the parents how the system works. So before we get going, I'm at home here. So if there is an interruption with by a child or a dog, then I do apologize, and we'll try and just brush past that quickly. There's also somewhere on your screen, you'll see a little Q&A box. Q&A, so it's and you can use this to ask a question. So I'm going to keep this open in my other window so that I can keep an eye on that. So if at any time you want to ask a question, just fire it in there and we'll try and get to that. I don't think this is going to take a long time because as parents, there's actually not that much for you guys to do or for you guys to learn here. So I'm hoping this is going to be quite straightforward. So what I'll do first of all, I will share my screen here, and let me see if I work out do that. Well, that's not a flattering angle, right? So let me share the screen with you here. So hopefully you can see what I see. So here we go. I'll move myself away. So I'm going to take you through the two ways that you guys as parents can access the system. And the first way is through the internet or a browser, as I've got here. So I've got my demonstration site and I'm set up as a demonstration parent. You'll all have your usernames and passwords that you've set up previously. If you ever forget your username or password, you can always use this forgot login button. And also your nursery staff or school staff can help you reset your details if you're still not sure what to do after that as well. You'll also have a PIN number, so let me pop that in there. And then when you log in as a parent, this will take you straight to your profile. So we can see here, once we get logged in, that the parent I've got here, John has got 2 children. So we've got, if you look up the top of the screen here, we've got a tab for Alistair and a tab for David. So John here, who's over on the right hand side, and he's helpfully uploaded his picture. If you can do that, that'll be really handy for your schools and nurseries. So John over here has got 2 children, David and Alistair. He's got a tab for each of those. So that you can access them both under one login, so you don't have to log in and log out as different things. So if any of you have got siblings in a school or a nursery and you have 2 different usernames, you don't need to have that. So speak to your school or nursery and they can link you into one account. So as a parent, what we can do, we're on Alistair's profile here. And what we see are some of his basic information down the left-hand side. And then down the right, we've got all the recent or all of his observations, and it scrolls down from newest to oldest. And we can just scroll down and we can see each of those. Each observation is quite, from a parent's point of view, is quite basic. It's just got the date that was taken, it's got the framework or the curriculum that it was linked to, and then it's got a description by your by the child's teacher. And we've got them here, and there we can see that it was Marion here that created this one, and she's got a picture there too. And over on the right hand side, you will likely have photos or videos of that particular observation, and there can be up to 4 photos or videos for that. So that is the sort of basic structure of an observation there. There's an area for you guys down below this blue part down here is where you can actually leave comments or click on this like button. So obviously you'll be aware that the teachers and the nursery staff, they've got a very difficult job, and communicating all these fabulous activities and observations that they do with you, it would be great for them if you could feed back to them that you've actually seen it, and you can do that simply just by clicking on this like button, just to acknowledge that you've seen that. And what's really great is if you can take the time to leave a comment about what you think about what's happened in the observation or the activity that you've seen in there. Because those comments are really valuable to the schools and the nurseries, because it shows them that all the hard work that they're doing has actually been appreciated, and you're taking notice of it. So if you can spare just a few seconds just to write a comment in, that would really help out the nursery team and the school team too. The comments, each nursery will have different ways, I guess, but I think in general what we try and tell our customers who are the schools and nurseries, what we try and tell them is that the idea of the comments is not to open a dialogue. So it's not, you shouldn't really leave a comment and expect a reply, and then you would reply to that and it goes on in a big chain. The idea of the comments is simply just for you guys to comment on what you've seen in the nursery. If you've got something urgent that you want to speak to nursery or school about, then there'll be other channels for you to contact them. So like phoning them or emailing them or other ways for you to contact them. This is really just for you to comment on your children's learning. You also have this tab up here called Learning Outcomes and Progression Pathways. It may look slightly different depending on which part of the country you're in or which country you're in. But if you click on here, you can see how the observation has been linked to a particular framework. So this child is in Scotland and he's on what we call the early level. So it's just one particular framework or curriculum. And these are the different parts of the curriculum that have been evidenced in this observation. So a lot of you will be interested in that. Not everybody will, but it's there for you. And again, the team put a lot of work into this section as well. So if we scroll down, we can see all the previous observations that have been taken for this child. And sometimes you might come across one like this one. So if you see the different, if I scroll up here, we can see this one this says observation here, and then we've got outcomes and pathways, and it's all in green. The one down below, this one is in blue and it says a story. So sometimes you might receive what we call a story, which is really just a documenting an experience that's happened. There's not necessarily any learning taking place in a story. It's just an experience that's happened. And it will usually just be a description of something and a photograph, or it could be a video as well. But again, if you can spare the time to either just like this or comment on it, it will let the team know that you've actually acknowledged that you're actually seeing what they've taken the time to send to you. So that's the two observations that you can have at the moment, as an observation or a story. If I scroll back up, I'm going to take you through some of the other options that we've got here. So obviously we've got Alistair's sort of basic information here. You can't really do anything with this. This is all just for your information. You can tell who his key person is or teacher, depending on if you're in nursery or school or whatever. And then we've got a few more buttons here that I'll just quickly take you through. So we've got, the first one is observations, and that's where we are right now. Now the next one, some of you won't have this button. This is, it's called Daily Diary. It's only really useful for nurseries who have younger children, so maybe babies. And if they want to, they can fill in daily diaries for things like sleeps and nappies and food and things they've eaten. So you can see here, Alistair's not had anything for today. And a demonstration account here doesn't have any daily diaries set up anyway. But for those of you who have got younger children, your nursery may have this button activated. If you don't have it, don't worry about it, because I'm sure they've got another format to provide you with those daily diaries. The next button is converting the profile to a PDF. So if you ever leave the nursery, and you don't actually have to leave the nursery, you can do this at any point. You can click on this convert the profile to a PDF button, and you can export all the data that is in here for you. So if you ever want to leave and print something out or export all your photographs, you can do that through this function here. And when you come in here, you can make a couple of choices, because if you've been say your child's been at a private nursery since they were a baby, then they left to go to school in primary 1 and they're now in primary 5 or 6, you could have quite a lot of observations. You may have hundreds of observations. So maybe you don't want to print all those out. So you can use this dates tab to say, I actually only want to see the last 6 months observations, for example. And you can make another couple of selections here to really customize the report that you get printed out. But at any time you can export all the data that you've got, or all the observations, all the stories, everything that's ever happened, you can have that in here. So the next thing is this blue button. Now, hopefully you can see that, and it's called Achievements from Home. So these are just ways for you guys to keep in touch with the nursery. So obviously at the moment, everyone's at home, the teachers are at home, all the nurseries are at home. And a lot of them will try and encourage you to do some home learning or to keep in touch with the school or nursery. The way you do that is through these blue buttons here. So we've got one here called Achievements from Home. Now, it might not necessarily be called Achievements from Home. You might have this called something completely different. So don't worry if it's not called exactly the same thing. It could be News from Home or whatever. What we've got here in this example, though, is a couple of ones that we'd already done. And it could be something like we're out on the bike, or here we've done a bit of dog training. We've got that there. What you can do as parents, you can create these yourselves. So you can add a new contribution, and you can upload a photo. You can put a title in here. So let's say that we were doing some homework, and then you can put in your whatever was happening. We were reading on maths this week, for example. So you don't have to do that. And then you can upload a photo to go along with this. Now, at the moment, parents can only upload photographs. You can't upload videos, I'm afraid. And the reason for that is that a video is obviously a much larger file than a photo. And it's a lot more taxing on our resources and systems. So I'm afraid we cannot allow you to upload photos at the moment. That might be something that we change in the future, but unfortunately, we're just a small company. We're no YouTube, unfortunately, so we can't have, there's over 10,000 parents on the system. So if everyone started uploading big, large files, it would cause us quite a few problems. So at the moment you can upload photos, and on my computer here, I can just choose a file. So I'll choose a picture of something. Let's have some food, at least cupcakes, that'll be nice. So I can upload this picture of cupcakes or whatever it would be. And you can upload each photograph, and the school or the nursery will be able to see that when you've uploaded that as well. If you ever want to change it, you can delete that, and you can delete any observations or any contributions that you've added to here as well. So let's click on that one. And if I did want to delete that, I'll just show you quickly how to do that. So there's our picture of our cupcakes. And if I wanted to, I could come in here and edit that and just remove that if I wanted to. Down below, Achievements from Home, we've got this button called Reports. And if your school or nursery chooses to do any sort of reports, then that will appear in here as well. Now, not every school or nursery will do reports, and you can see in our demonstration we haven't got any, but it could be something like an end, oh yeah, I do have one. We've got an end of term report here, so I'll show you what that sort of thing would look like. So this is our demonstration school has chosen to do this end of term report, and it could look something like this. Obviously, it's going to have a little bit more content in there. And with these reports, you can actually leave a comment on that as well. So as a parent, we can actually leave a comment for these reports, and the school or nursery will be able to see those too. So not everyone's going to have these reports in here, but that button will be available to you. And finally, we've got this gallery button. So the gallery is just a record of all photographs or videos that have ever been uploaded to your child's profile. So here they all are here. There's the one we did with the cupcakes, then there's a wee dog. And what you can do is you can click on each one and you can see what it relates to here. So all the photos will be in here, and at any point you can download your gallery, so you'll have all your photographs in here. It's not really designed as a sort of store of photographs, so it's not the sort of thing you would upload your whole photo library to, because there are different services that would do that much better. This is really just a record of all the learning events that have happened and anything in relation to your child being at school or nursery. So that's your gallery, and hopefully that makes sense. Any downloads that you do request, they will appear in your Downloads tab up the top here. And you'll have noticed that we've got this other tab called Messages. So the school from time to time may choose to send you messages, and this is where they appear. So we can see here that John's got 4 unread messages. And if we look down here, so we can see I've got quite a few tests in here, but these are all things that we sent. So it could be things like newsletters or home learning for the week or whatever, but these messages will all be here. You'll also receive an email for these 2. And very lastly, if you click on your face over here, you'll be able to see you can change your personal details. That's also where, if you want to, you can change your password, and you can upload a new picture for yourself as well. So that is the online version of the system. So hopefully that makes sense to you. If, again, at any point, if anyone wants to ask any questions, use that Q&A app there. Now, if you give me just 1 second, I am just going to swap over and connect my phone so that we can now look at the app. Let me just do that. Okay, thank you, everybody. So hopefully what you can see now is my phone screen up here. I managed to do that. And let me get back to it, yeah. So in case you weren't aware, if you go into your app store, this is the iPhone here. If you search for LJ Parents or Learning Journals for Parents, you'll find something that looks just like this LJ Parents icon here. And it's actually available for the Android devices as well. So any of those, if you just search for those, they're all available. And if I click into my parent app, oh, I had it open on a different screen there. Let me go back so you can see what you can see. In fact, I might, so once you log in, you use the same credentials as before. You will see a screen like this. So again, we've got 2 children, Alistair and David, and you've got a card for each of them. And you can access either of them by clicking on their faces, and that will bring up the observations that we had. So here's exactly the same screen that we had before, the same content that we had before. And we can have a look down here and we can see all the observations. We can click on these photos and that will bring that up there. And we can add in our comments or click on our like button here, just as we did on the website. So again, very, very simple when you're looking at observations. And you can scroll down and these will all just load in as we scroll down. So we can go back as far as we want. So if you'd been there for several years, you would have lots and lots of observations in there. So going back to the main screen, what we have are our same kind of tabs really. So we've got our learning events, which is our observation we just looked at, daily diary, so as before, parent contributions and the gallery. So adding a parent contribution from your phone is actually quite good because, so there's ones we just did there. If I click on this new button, so adding a new observation, new parent contribution, what we can do, you might have the opportunity to select a category. So if you remember, we had achievements from home. Some schools and nurseries may have several of these. So you could have news from home or my family, or it could, it depends on the needs of the school, but the sky's the limit with that. They can have anything they want. So let's say I'm going to add a new achievement from home. And I happen to know that I've got playing a board game because we were trying to sort of do some numbers and adding up. Playing a board game. And let's just say this was concentrating on maths. Obviously, if I had time, I would put a little bit more in here. You can see obviously spell check works as well because it's in the browser. And then we can upload a photo. So when you get to this stage, you can choose to take a new photo or go to your photo library. I'm just going to pick one I've already taken, and it's going to be this one here. You choose your image size. I'll just choose a small one. and that uploads your picture. And that will go up there. So there's our picture gone up. And now I can just save that picture and it's gone up to our profile. So your teacher or your nursery team, they will see that picture there. And you know, we can see that picture that we've taken. So there's us playing a board game. We're practicing on our numbers. And they will be able to see that and they can then like it and comment on it as well. We're going to be adding new features to this, to the parent contribution side of things. In the next few weeks, we're going to be allowing you to sort of attach files. So if you've got homework or evidence in sort of PDF or Word document format you want to add, you'll be able to do that there. And I guess the last thing from the parent point of view is these 3 lines at the very top of my page, that just accesses your menu. So I can use that to check on any messages. So any messages you receive will appear in here as well. And again, you can see that I've got 4 messages. So I can go in here and I can click on the homework, home learning for this week. And if I look at that, and then let's imagine that there was a file attached to this, we'd be able to open that up or send it on to ourselves or whatever we want to do. So very straightforward. From a parent's point of view, there's not really that much that you guys can do here. The main thing is to sort of remember your login details. Once you're logged into the app, you'll stay logged in. And then you can use that to add any parent contributions or view anything that the nursery has put up for you. Hopefully that's all kind of straightforward. Now this is the time, if anyone's got them, to put some questions in. Is there anyone out there who has anything to do? And if not, I think we're going to wrap this up pretty quickly, which is quite nice. If you ever need help or you ever want to get in touch, the first port of call for you guys will be your nurseries or your schools. We're very, very limited in the assistance we can give to parents because we can't access your data. We can't reset your passwords for you. That's all something that's got to be done for your nursery or from your nursery or your school. If you've ever any suggestions, then by all means, please do get in touch with us directly because we'd love to hear new features or new ideas because that's the way that the system has developed over the past sort of 6 or 7 years. But thanks very much everybody for coming along. What we will do is if you want to come back and see this, we're going to actually put this on our website at learningjournals.co.uk. We've got a page there called webinars, and this video of this will be there. I see we've actually had a couple of questions just come in at the very last minute there. So Lynn has asked, will the webinar be available for parents to look at after the summer term? Yes, so Lynn, if I share my screen again, I'll show you where that is just so we can make sure we've got that there. So if you go to, I'll just bring up our website here, learningjournals.co.uk. And if you scroll down to the very bottom of the page, so this is our website, and if you scroll down to the very bottom, you will see a, if it loads in, a page called Resources tab down here, and you click on this Webinars button. That will take you to the webinars that we've got. We're going to revamp this because it was put up hastily once everyone started working from home, but you can see here, here's a link for the current parents one, and we will put the video for this under this section here, so you'll be able to look at that. It'll be on our YouTube channel as well. Yeah, so the webinars, they're just going to remain on there. So they're all sitting on YouTube at the moment, so they'll be available all the time. Now, there might be new features added as time goes by, so we'll maybe need to update these. So from time to time, things will change how they look, but these webinars will always be there available for everyone to see. We had one last question. Mary's asking, on a child's main page, can the parents select to look at different curricular areas? So I think what Mary's asking for there, if we look up the top here, we're looking at every single observation that's ever been taken for Alistair. But what we can do is we can use this drop-down menu to look at only, for example, his early level curriculum. So if you, for example, if you're in England, this might say EYFS. So if we click on this, we can see all his early level observations. And what we can now do is we can see down below the different areas for that particular curriculum. And we can choose to say, well, I only want to see any observations that are linked to expressive arts. And I would do that here. Does that make sense? So you can focus on a particular part of the curriculum, or I only want to see my health and well-being observations. you can see the little numbers and brackets. They tell you how many observations are linked to that part of the curriculum. And as Alistair's our demonstration child, we actually don't have very many here. So he's only got some for health and wellbeing, numeracy and maths, but that's a way to do it. By default though, you will see all observations at once, and you'll need to use this menu to filter what it is you can see. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I think that's covered everybody. If there's anyone else want to get one last question in, then please do so. Okay, well, thanks very much, everybody. We're going to leave it there just now, but hopefully speak to you again soon. But I'll hopefully try and make these a bit more regular than we've done them before. And we'll see you again. Thanks very much for coming.